Hi everyone, you're going to notice today this is a pretty thorough in-depth demo and review, more in-depth than I've ever done before. And I've done that because this is a really expensive amplifier for a start. It's a Two Rock. It's not commonly available in shops, most shops. I waited quite a long time to have this made by Two Rock. So it's not easy for you to go out and find one and play around with it. So I just wanted to show you the most mundane aspects, really, just to give you a good flavour if you're really considering buying it or if you're just really interested to see how this thing works. We know Joey Landreth got that fantastic tone out of it in that very short Two Rock demo that if you're interested in this amp, you've probably watched that video about 10 times like I did. But I couldn't find a lot else about this amp. I couldn't find out a lot of the ins and outs and what it really sounded like from a human being playing perspective as opposed to Joey Landreth level playing perspective. I'm still pretty sure that he used pedals in that demo, but they didn't show them because I can't get the tone like that out of here. But I'm still playing around with it, and maybe in a few months I'll do a second short demo where I show you the sweet spots that I've found. I'm going to start making a note when I find the most sweet spot. And the other thing I want to say in conclusion, and I'm putting the conclusion at the beginning of this because this is more of a demo from after this rather than a review. In conclusion, I would say that the classic Reverb Signature is an easier amp to play with than the Bloomfield Drive. I can't get a bad sound out of the classic Reverb Signature. They've set that amp up so beautifully. It's easy. The Bloomfield Drive is a more difficult taskmaster. It's more complicated, I find, to get a good tone out of it. But when you find those sweet spots, which I do sometimes here and there, oh my god, it is godly levels of tone. It is the best tone, and it is incredible for pedals and things like that. So much headroom in this 100 watt and even 50 watt aspect. So my recommendation is that you watch the rest of this demo just to see what a normal person like me can get out of it at just these settings, because I've done as wide a range of settings as possible to really help you out in figuring this amp out. But I just wanted to put this little conclusion bit at the beginning so you hear it rather than right at the end where you might have switched off before then. This amp is fantastic. If I was only going to have one Two Rock, I think I would go for the classic Reverb because I can just switch that on and get a great tone without even thinking about it. Every position, every gain stage, everything is just beautiful. This amp takes a lot more work, I think, to get the sort of tone that I was after, but it's well worth the effort. If you're really into this amp, the idea of this amp, please listen ahead, and if you're just interested to see what it's like, please watch the rest of the video, and let's get into the main video now. This is the Two Rock Bloomfield Drive, a 2-channel 6L6 power tube 100 watt amp which can be switched to 50 watt mode with no impedance mismatch. This is by no means a simple amplifier, so go get yourself a drink and settle in for a while. We might as well be thorough. Please use the channel timestamps to jump if you like, or to take a second look at something. I'm going to conduct the review in 100 watt mode unless I say otherwise. Let's start by looking at the back of the amp. Here we have a foot switch jack. That explains itself. Then we have the reverb send control. I will demo this later, but in theory it controls the signal applied to the reverb tank. A low setting has shorter decay times, and it will increase, of course, as you turn clockwise. I have to say at this point this is the best reverb I've ever experienced, even better than the classic Reverb Signature. Then there is a passive effects loop. This will run effects in series between the pre and power amp sections. Two Rock recommend that most effects here should have buffers on the input and output to correctly match the signals. If you haven't used an effect loop before, the send jack goes into the input of the effects, and the return on the amp takes the return cable from the output of the pedal. Simple. Here we have the different outputs depending on the rating of the speakers. And here the power selection switch. It should be kept in 100 watt mode for extra awesomeness. Sometimes you may wish to test the 50 watt setting just to make sure it's still working. AC on off, your standby is on the front. Genius. Fuse and plug. Well, I said I was going to be thorough. Now to the main event, the front. There are quite a few permutations here, so let's start putting the demos in as we go along. Hi guys, it's just me, and I thought I'd butt in here because I had a little think about this whilst I was editing, and I wanted to talk about this amp's use in the home setting, really. This amp has, I think, caught a lot of people's imagination because it's really an interesting and unique sort of amp. It's not trying to do the Fender thing. It's not really, it doesn't really sound like a Dumble sort of thing. It's got its own character, and I think it's something a little bit new, perhaps. And so it's intrigued a lot of us. Anyway, I spent a lot of time deciding whether to get the 100 watt, the 50 only watt, or the 40-20. And I couldn't find a video that really helped me out with this. So I thought I would just talk quickly about whether you can play this at home in the 100 watt mode. You will see later on that I switch between the 100 and 50 to give you that example as well of what it sounds like. But is a 100 watt amp too much? It could be. Certainly a Plexi Marshall from decades ago would be way too much. That would literally probably blow your house up. This amp has the most effective master volume control that I've ever used. You can get this down to such manageable levels. So the question would be, is it worth buying the 100 to 50 watt one if you're only ever going to play it at home? Then the answer is possibly still a yes, because using an attenuator, you could bring the volume down anyway, and 6L6s, some people prefer that to 6V6s, which is what you get in the 40 and 20 watt one. And it's worth getting the 100 to 50 watt one over the 50 watt one, just to give you that higher headroom. You'll hear in the demo later that the volume level is only slightly different between 50 and 100. It's not a huge difference. What is different is the amount of headroom that you get, which if you're a clean player or if you want a pedal platform, then 100 watts is fantastic. You've got endless headroom there that's going to enable you to use anything and do anything, really. So you get much more flexibility. That master volume control means that you can play it at almost, I would say you could play it at bedroom levels. If you're in a shared apartment, you're not going to get the most out of it. Of course you're not. I think you need to get at least, let's say, to about 9 o'clock or around there, which is roughly what I've had it on today. Once you start getting past that, then it starts to become pretty loud. If you're using pedals, on the other hand, I think it's even better. I found that the pedals are able to push the amp without you whacking up the volume, and it just sounds fantastic. And whether you should get the 40 to 20 watt one as a much lower volume thing, it's not going to be hugely lower volume. I think you'd have to get a 10 watt amp for it to be half the volume of a 100 watt amp, something like that. And my 40 to 20 watt classic Reverb signature is really loud. It doesn't have as effective of a master volume control system as the Bloomfield Drive does. So I can sometimes find it easier to play the Bloomfield Drive even though it's 100 watt over the 40 watt. And I actually only play the classic Reverb in 20 watt because the 40 watt is too loud and I can't get out of the amp what I want to at 40 watt in the house without an attenuator. So anyway, I just thought I'd say that. And before the video carries on, it's a really in-depth review demo. But please let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,500 subs as quickly as possible. You might notice there's a competition going on the channel. After this video, go through my videos and just find one of the last couple of videos where I'm giving away a Nobles ODR1 pedal. Once I get to 1,500 subs, you just have to subscribe and comment on any video, mention the Nobles, whatever. That'd be great. And give this video a thumbs up. As I said, I'm trying to grow the channel, so it's much appreciated. And a lot of work has gone into this video. So what I also wanted to know was, is it worth going into this much depth in general with an amp? This amp, for me, it was a special case. It's a really complex amp. It's, something, there wasn't a lot about it on the internet, so I wanted to put this out there. Is it worth me doing it for other amps, or should I stick to more simple, slightly shorter videos? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please enjoy the rest of the video and leave some comments down below. See you next time. First, I'm going to test EQ1 and EQ2. EQ1 as a lower output, it just in general seems to have less character. Can be quite useful for doing more sort of backing rhythm. I'm going to test it on the EQ1 channel first with just the treble boost, then just the mid boost, then just the deep boost, and then I'll test it all together, and then I'll do different permutations, treble and mid, treble and bass, mid and bass. And I'll do the same with EQ2, which has a higher output, more characterful tone as far as I'm concerned, and that's the channel I tend to keep it in. Okay, from now on we're going to stick with EQ2 unless I mention otherwise. Let's move over to the reverb. As I said, the best reverb I've ever heard. Let's do a demo. I'm going to show you the reverb send switch on the back and the sort of master reverb knob on the front, and we're going to test in various positions on the send at 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock and at maximum, and on the front for each of those I will test at 9, 3, 12 and max on the master reverb knob. So settle down, this could take a few minutes. You'll see that this switch says lead at the top and reverb at the bottom. It is in the lead channel when it's up, and at that point the reverb definitely reduces in order to give you a more clear lead sound. Now into the lead channel. Oh boy, here we go. Now I don't think this is meant to be a high gain amp, and I think the channel may have been named a little differently perhaps, but put it this way, that Joey Landreth demo of this Well, there must have been pedals involved, or maybe I'm just not man enough to take that sort of tone out of this amp. It may well lurk inside here, but don't worry, this amp takes pedals like I do a good cup of coffee, readily. Now, once we flick this switch, we're going to be in war mode, and we have more complications to play with. Now the main gain will cascade into this one. You can use the lead gain control to add more gain above the main gain. Again, I'm going to demo this for you. In this demo, I'm not playing much with the master volumes on either the lead or the main master volume. And the reason for that is A, I've done a video cranking this thing, which you can go and watch. And B, realistically, for most of us, this amp is not going to be used to its full capacity. We know that. This demo, this review is about how us normal folks in normal homes, maybe small studios, small gigs, how are we going to use this amp? Well, I want to show you that it still sounds great even without the master cranked. So we've got the master on the lead master and the main master pretty low here. If there's enough demand for it in the comment section, I'll do another short video where I play around more with the master controls to show you how, let's say loud, how much sweeter it can be by pushing the power section. I'm well aware that we're not pushing the power section and that does change the tone, but this is a realistic demo as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to show you with the lead gain at 9, 11, 12, 2, 3 and full on, just so you can hear what you're likely to get out of this amp at a reasonable volume. Bear in mind I'm recording this at home and I can use the amp in these settings. So now I'm going to put the lead gain back at 12 o'clock, which is a good position. It sounds great, and I'm going to show it to you in EQ1 and then EQ2 and with various stages of boost. Now, if you're a bit of a madman, you might like to bypass all of that nifty EQ control stuff. Well, almost all of it. By turning this into bypass mode, it will allow you more gain. More gain. The boost switches will still work though. Let's try. All right, we're getting nearer the end here. This is now the presence control, which controls the high frequency response. Let's just test it using the lead channel, and we'll go from off and up through various stages. Okay, now to finish off, I do want to show you what this amp is like between the 100 watt and the 50 watt mode. So basically I'll show you a few settings at 100 watts and the same settings at 50 watts, and hopefully you'll hear some difference in tone, or you may not. 50 watts is still ample, absolutely ample for almost any situation. You get more headroom at 100 watts, but the volume difference is not massive. I suspect the potential volume difference at the end is about 3 decibels, but once you're getting this loud, even at 50 watts, I'm not sure you can know. So, really, I keep it in 100 watts. A couple of times, if I thought I want to get this crunchy a bit earlier on, I've turned it into 50, and it's something I'm yet to play with fully. But this will be a good chance to test it out. So let's see what happens. Actually, I thought I'd just butt in here at the end again just to say thank you if you got this far in the video. I hope you found something useful here. Overall, it's a beautiful amp. I definitely don't regret buying it. As I've said, the classic Reverb Signature is a very easy amp to use and has all the classic tones you want from a sort of Fender blackface amp, but also its own thing. It's very versatile and it can get you more towards that Stevie Ray Vaughan character if that's what you want. This is a completely different beast. This has such high headroom, but it does have a beautiful lead channel. It's a really interesting experience trying to dial that in. I don't think I've perfected it for sure. I know I haven't. So I may well do another video about finding the sweet spot of this amp. If you're going to find that interesting, please leave a comment. And I'll do some of my pedal videos. I'll make sure you know which amps I'm using, and some of them I'll use this, so please keep an eye out. I'll probably put the name of the amp in the title going forward just to help you all out in finding it. But anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you next time. Cheers.